And yo, the Sports Bag Bros podcast is coming back at you. We're on a Monday, which is Memorial Day. For all of you who celebrate Memorial Day, it should be the whole country. It's not Happy Memorial Day, it's Honor Memorial Day for those who made the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice in a lot of cases. Kind of like the Knicks did yesterday. The ultimate sacrifice in sports. What's good?
I'll let Jermaine go since he's a guest. Go ahead, brother.
Thanks, Bias. I'm not here. I'm not alone. I'm here with another Nick fan, Mr. Wayne. Wayne?
What's up, kid? What's up? What's up? I'm good. How you doing?
Welcome
What's
to the
going
show,
on, man.
Yeah, you know how it is. Now they need to play with that same strategy that they used last night. They need to play with that. Step on Halliburton's leg, take him out the game, and do what else you need to do. Step on the chest. That's how Indiana be playing. Come on now. It's New York. You know we're not nice. You know we're not nice.
I want to know why they've been playing better when Brunson's in foul trouble on the bench.
For real, man.
Yeah, that's true. Nah. You know what they need to do? They need to, don't let them get to the point where they get those fouls, and they need to start using the players on the bench so we see what they got. That's what Indiana been doing. You know what I mean?
The Knicks just did.
I think
exactly.
The crazy
and they did it in game. They did the same thing in game one. But I don't know what the referees be looking at with that. Holding what's his name and trying to hook arms and whatnot. I don't know what the referee be watching, but I think I'm gonna have to go down there with my Apple iPhone and start to zoom in and show the referee what they're really missing.
I think the crazy thing is the team who's out in front, they seem to be the team in trouble.
Yeah, they always do.
I don't know if you want to get out to a big lead in this series.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really would like to win, 2-2. Yeah, and then bring it back to the Garden, because, game 5 and 7 are in the Garden. So we'll see, you know what I mean?
But shoot, the way the Knicks have been playing, man, I don't know if I want to go to the Garden and close out at least Indiana. They've been playing so damn well. Indiana's been playing well. They've proven they can win at the Garden. They've already shown that, putting the Knicks in the 2-0 hole. Now the Knicks, I guess, got to get it back, going to Indiana the same way they did with Boston.
I don't know. I wish I had my Instagram page up. I might be an influencer. They might have saved me a ticket, and I just don't know about it.
What did you Knicks fans think about the fans chanting Knicks in 6 last night to the TNT?
That was nice. That was nice. They need to do it.
Realistic or nice? Come on. I think this is come on. Look, the team that's behind is in danger. Tibbs just told the team yesterday, he was like, now that you can't be comfortable even with a 20-point lead, and the Knicks should know themselves because they should have been comfortable with a 17-point lead, which they overcame the other day. You just can't be comfortable. But to Tibbs' credit, finally, and it took about 90 games, he's putting the backups, he put the bench in the game early, and it was effective. But really, how effective was it really? Because Cal still had to have a ridiculous game for them to pull it off, and that was in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Hey, look, they might as well make use of the lobby. It was large enough for anything that can happen last night. So they might as well make some use of it. Why not?
So do you think it was a great Knicks comeback, or was it a Pacers collapse?
Chime in, Wayne, because I got to go.
I think it might have been a great Knicks comeback, but but it's not over yet. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, just as far as game 3. Now, see, I put this loss on Rick Carlisle because when Brunson goes to the bench, who's going to score for the Knicks?
They always wind up in the back.
Cat, who's going to score? Who's the biggest threat? Cat. So they waited too long to try and guard him. He was already cooking,
and they can't.
Started trying to guard him.
And they can't believe in. They can't believe in Halliburton open too many times because when it's a crucial moment, they're gonna try to shoot as many threes as possible. That's what they did with game 1 and 2, mostly 1, because that's how they got to catch up really fast when they were 11 or 20 something points behind. That's how they caught up so fast with all them daggone threes Plus, they use the bench up a bit and let those other guys rest, you know?
And Indiana is average, is 40% from 3-pointers right now. They were 36% throughout the season, but in the playoffs, they've been absolutely crutch. And at the end, you know they have the propensity to win a game. Now, going back to Bryce's question of whether it was a collapse, you know what? Anytime you give up those kinds of leads, I think it has to be a collapse, man. 20 points up, it's a collapse. 17 points up, it's a collapse. And then the Knicks talking about they were playing not to win, they were playing not to lose. That's why they lost that 17-point lead and the game. It has to be a collapse, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. We see what happened, though. Keep it going.
Jermaine.
All right. Thanks for
Back
joining
to your regularly scheduled, Jermaine.
So when you think about Brunson didn't come back into the game until I think there was 2:39 left.
Yeah.
And the score was tied. That's on Carlisle, man. You can't allow McBride to come in and go on a 5-0 run by himself. You can't allow the cat to drop 20 on you in the fourth quarter. That's on Carlisle, man. I think the players relaxed a little bit, but Carlisle, he didn't make any adjustments with Brunson on the bench.
I think you can't really. I think you can't really help yourself, but get a little relaxed when you're up by 17 and 20 points, and even more than that. You know, it's just difficult. But
when you see the lead dwindling away with Brunson,
you lose that momentum too.
You got to make adjustments. You cannot lose that lead with Brunson on the bench.
And that's the truth. But man, you know, and that's between both teams. So it's not like, and you know, and it's still not a comfortable feeling knowing the Knicks going into game 4. And no one's, if a team in this series so far, the team that looks like they're more comfortable when they're ahead, it seems like it's Indiana. When the Knicks are ahead, Indiana overtakes them almost immediately, and then they stay ahead. Then it's always the Knicks playing to catch up, and then the Knicks can't keep ahead and stay ahead for a long period of time until yesterday it happened. But
I think Neesmith going down with that ankle sprain had a factor as well.
You know what? The way things been going down with Indiana so far in the playoffs, anyone who goes down from that team. But you mentioned their depth. The depth is still there. So they just plug and play. And those are the kind of plays they've had.
What do you have to say, Jermaine?
That's when I say put it.
Well, like I said, I thought that they lost last night. I was ready to say that game 1 was the one that broke them because they let this Neesmith guy go up like he's Caitlin Clark and Steph Curry combined, shooting all them threes. I'm like, can somebody get in this guy's face, man? By the time he shoots the 4th 3, I'm like, I almost broke my TV set, man. I was, but if they win, they just got to win game 4. They don't. I don't like you just finished saying earlier, Trav. I was like, what confidence you have in them at Madison Square Garden? There's no damn type of home, type of crowd there because you got the corporate people there pricing out fans like me and Wayne over here, real fans, going berserk and stuff. You got that corporate crowd and they don't have no kind of energy, man. That's Garden ain't the same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if they win tomorrow night going home, they'll have all the momentum.
They will.
When it looked like they were down and out, they were getting bent over in the first half, and then they still game 3 and they're going home tied. Man, how can you not go home feeling good about yourself?
But I feel comfortable with the Knicks going on the road and playing the way they've been playing. I talked about them being gritty. Part of being gritty is being on the road and being to show they can do that against Boston. They did it a couple of times because Boston got them out of there. Closed it at home, but still coming back home, doing the job on the road just to balance out the home court advantage, getting back home. I don't know if there's a lot of confidence, even though they have the momentum. Let's not forget about what Indiana has done. They've been doing a lot of finesse things, but they are showing grit as well. And they've been doing it throughout the playoffs just as much. It's just that you're remembering all these last-second shots and all these heroics that have been happening that you kind of forget that they grind it out throughout, and they just still have a finesse game. But when they need to, they can grind it out. The Knicks, in my opinion, from the very beginning, can grind it out. They're still that kind of team. Even though Brunson's going to lead the team, you're still going to have someone like Cat, being in the position he's in to score. And it was just the fourth quarter in which he did it. He went into that fourth quarter with just 4 points.
Right.
And they still out-rebounded in this game.
Thanks, guys, for letting me have this time to come on because I gotta help this guy with the barbecue.
All right, man.
Don't burn the food now.
No,
probably gonna get that.
All right, guys, I appreciate
it,
it,
bro.
Make it easy.
Yeah, man. But how about let's talk about the previous game with Siakam. I mean, these are the types of plays. Even though he's done well,
he went berserk.
He went absolutely berserk. They couldn't do anything with him. And I think that they have more of those plays than the Knicks have. We don't have enough players, at least at this point in the season, to where you can just expect. You don't even expect it. It just ends up happening outside of Brunson and probably Cat. You throw 35 points, 39 points. And it goes back to even what I was saying just last week about when you had players like Dante DiVincenzo, who's able to score 30-plus points. You don't got to ask him to do it. It just ends up happening. You don't got to put him in a position to do it. He's just hot that night. And, going with the Indiana Pacers, I'm still looking at this Obi Toppin and looking at the freaking athleticism this guy has. He's always at the end of one of the alley-oops. He's always showing spurts of just being an elite athlete, but it doesn't come together. And he's been deep enough into the league to where you should know if he could play or not to do it by himself. Because even James Harden as a sixth man, when he was in Oklahoma City, we saw that he could probably do some things outside of the players that he was with. And then he ended up getting his own team. He hasn't done much with it, but we see that he's better than the sixth man.
Yeah, so mentioning James Harden, I was watching the game with my son yesterday, and, they always mention how Halliburton was voted most overrated player in the league. And I said, I don't know how people can't vote for Harden. That's clearly James Harden.
Without a question.
Right. It's clearly James Harden, hands down. I don't think it's debatable because he's held in such high regard. And every game 7, he plays like an absolute bum.
7 points, 9 points in games that matter. And by the way, how did he get this stature all of a sudden of being this elite player? He is an elite player, or was.
He did have the year where he averaged 35.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the king of the step back for a few years.
The king of the step back, and then when they decide to enforce the rules in all those things, now he's not as much, but he still has that ability. It's just that it doesn't lead anywhere. And there are a number of players in the NBA that have talent, and it doesn't lead anywhere. Kevin Durant, since he hasn't been with the Warriors, still has talent, still getting older, but he hasn't gone anywhere. So I guess that this sticks with a lot of players. Even Giannis now in the past couple of years hasn't gone anywhere, even with all the talent. Now, I heard the rumor today of him going out to the Lakers. I was like, what to say if he does end up going out to the Lakers? I don't even know. But yeah, as far as this game goes with the Knicks, it was another one of those games, man.
I got to give, I talk about the onions that Halliburton has, balls of steel. I got to tip my hat to Brunson. He sat for like 12 minutes of game time.
Yeah.
Probably 20, 25 minutes in reality time. He comes in, first possession, hits a floater to give them a 2-point lead. Like, dude, can he bust a sweat? I mean, he just came in. Give me the ball. I got this little floater. All right, let's go. Like, man, that's a pro right there. That's a real professional.
Yeah, and I think now, even in this series here, even if they don't win, I think he's already worked himself into being one of those elite players, because I know we talked about it last week and we talked about it before, about he's just a tier under those elite players. I think now he and Halliburton are up there with those elite players. The elite player I had up there before, John Morant, because he's not going to the playoffs and because of all the nonsense off the field, and now the injuries are being a problem for him. I think he's now one of those second-tier players. But Jalen Brunson, man, I still can go back and remember when the Knicks signed him. I thought they were doing typical Knicks things. I'm thinking Allen Houston all over again. And here we go with Brunson doing things Allen Houston couldn't even dream of.
I just thought of something I saw. I didn't see the clip, but I saw the thumbnail and the headline. The Morris brother that's on ESPN, he said there are no great teams left in the NBA playoffs. So is he implying that there were some great teams and they got eliminated?
This whole season hadn't had great teams.
I'm just saying there are no great teams left in the playoffs, which implies at one point there were some great teams. well, how great could they have been if they're out of the playoffs? They're not that great. I mean, I don't know. He's probably got some kind of concussion from his brother getting pushed by Jokic.
Yeah, he's still feeling the concussion by proxy.
That's just asinine. Come on, man. I don't know how they even get on TV coming up with shit like that. Oh, why throw shade at the 4 teams in the playoffs? They beat whoever. He was the one saying Kawhi's the best player in the league. He's probably touting the Clippers. They got eliminated.
He's punching the air right now. Yeah, nowhere close to it. But I don't think this year or even the past couple of years we've had a super team as we've known them to be just a handful of years ago. You know, even with the Jokic team wasn't a super team. Giannis's team wasn't a super team. Those teams are over. I think what was the last super team was when KD was in out west.
Well, that was a super team. That was like PlayStation build your own.
That's what it is. Create your own player.
I mean, when we think about the Celtics last year with Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Holiday, and old man Horford still playing at a high level.
Yeah,
I think that was a great team last year.
Yeah, it was a great team, but it wasn't a super team.
Well, super team. Are we talking super teams or are we talking great teams?
Well, great teams, because I think that's a great team that put together. One of those super teams, I guess you just put together like a puzzle. I guess the super teams we see now are the ones that are announced. It's not like
I think Denver was pretty damn close to.
It was a damn good team.
Jokic, Murray, and
I guess when you announce these teams, like when you knew KD joined. When he joined Golden State, you knew that he had Steph Curry and everybody. There was this, like the rock star team. He was added to that. We saw him with the super team, went to Boston years ago. We knew who those 3 guys were. You could just name them, the big 3. I don't think Denver, you called anyone the big 3. It was Jokic and everyone else, you know. And then you look at Boston.
Murray was a strong.
Murray was a big piece of it. But even if you're just talking about 2, I think the super team mantra seems to have 3 players. You know, there's always some kind of a big 3 or just 3 players who played very damn well. Boston's team had 2 players with Tatum and Brown, and then, you know, Porzingis happened to be there, and, you know, you had names, but I don't think they called them a super team. It was a very damn good team.
Porzingis put them over the top.
He did.
You look at that Denver team. You know, Porter Jr. is a very good 3-point shooter, 6'10". He can get inside, get some rebounds. He's a good defender. They had KCP who can shoot, good defender. Aaron Gordon can shoot a little bit, good defender. They had guys coming off the bench who contributed. They couldn't keep all those guys, so that's why they're no longer championship contenders. But I think that Denver team was definitely great.
I don't know. A damn good team.
We're talking super teams. How many super teams have there actually been?
Exactly. But those super teams that, like, down in Miami, they made it seem like LeBron was the reason what made it a super team.
If you don't go back, if you don't win back to back, can you even be a mentioned team as a super team?
And that's true too.
So no. So then, okay, put it like that. Then yeah, Golden State was the last super team.
Well, hell, that Celtics team only won 1 championship when they had KD. I mean, not when they had Kevin Garnett, KG. They won 1 championship, but they were looked at as a super team. And, you know, you go down into that Miami team, they did win down there.
But I wouldn't call them a super team. They had a big 3.
The one in Boston?
KG, Pierce, and Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, yeah.
I wouldn't call them a super team. I mean, when we just set the criteria, like how good were you? You only won 1.
Exactly. They only won 1, but they were still called the super team. They were called the big 3. And then you had the Miami big 3 down there, I thought it was the big 2.5 because I don't believe Chris Bosh, even though he was good, he wasn't like on the level of LeBron at that time and Dwayne Wade. I mean, he was a good player, but I don't think it was really the big. Come on, if you had the big 3, you saw those 2. You know who the big 2 really were. The third was just the third leg, the third wheel. But either way, now there's very good teams. But I think like the Cleveland is a very good team. I don't know. Damn, I don't even know what to say about Denver because as long as Jokic is there, they're gonna be a damn good team. And if he had more help, they'll be a great team. You mentioned Aaron Gordon. I keep just thinking about Aaron Gordon down at the Orlando Magic, and I was at media day with him down there, and I was like, "Yo, bro, they wasted a whole bunch of money on this guy." But you know what? He's kind of showing up and did his thing here. You know, he's doing well, and he surprised the hell out of us. And we know he has heart now. The way he came back from that injury, and when was scratched from playing and decided game time to play right before freaking tip off. But yeah.
So it sounds like even if the Knicks win tomorrow night, you're not convinced that they'll win game 5.
Whew, man, yeah, if they win tomorrow, going back home, I don't know. It seems like that. I've always wondered, and not always, but I wondered, especially recently with all the new buzz with the Knicks, and Knicks fans have always been there, all the sellouts for all these years, whether it's 0-82, or no, Knicks fans are going to be there regardless. And I hear people saying, oh, Knicks fans, I heard from them again, like after, because the last 2 games they didn't win, so they thought they'd hear about Knicks fans. But yeah, it's just that I can't believe how they lose in front of that crowd. I've been at the Madison Square Garden and heard the crowd and the energy that's in that building, and you wondered how the hell did they lose in front of that? But you have a team like Indiana that seems to be some kind of team of destiny that knows how to cut through the clutter, all the outside nonsense, focus on the game, even if it takes a miracle ending. There it goes out on their side. It ends on their side. I'm wishing that the Knicks were able to get like a huge lead. And because they're at home and because they learned their lesson,
they had a huge lead in game 1.
You know what I'm saying? I hope they learned their lesson about what not to do when there's a 17-point lead or something even bigger. You know, even though Tibbs gave his team the talk about, hey, nothing's comfortable and these huge leads mean nothing. You can't get relaxed because you have a huge lead, because we've already seen on both sides how you could lose those leads and lose the freaking game on the road and at home. It doesn't even freaking matter.
Yeah, you know, so Tibbs has to remind them still after what's gone on in the first 3 games.
Something wrong.
I question the focus of the team, because they shouldn't need reminders. You know, they had a collapse in game 1, and then the Pacers had a collapse in game 3. So they've seen it from both sides.
They should have learned by now. They should have learned even from Boston.
Tibbs shouldn't have to say anything.
See, and now I'm seeing real knuckleheads now. These are real Knicks fans, and I'm talking about being facetious. Real Knicks fans. It's like, even if Tibbs wins, they need to fire him. They need to fire him even if they win. That's what they're talking about now. He has to go. He's been here too long. If he wins, get rid of him. Find someone else. Hire Malone. I'm like, these are the this is what they're saying, man. And I'm like, I understand where they're coming from, but it's still stupid regardless. Anyone who wins a championship, if you win a championship, especially for the Knicks in New York, you're not going anywhere. You're going to be there. You're going to get an extension. You're going to be there for freaking almost choosing your time to leave. You'll be like freaking Joe Torre was with the Yankees.
If they come back from 0-2, going on the road to Indy and win this series, I don't see how you can justify firing Tibbs under any condition.
I think they're just pissed off about him not playing the bench players, because I see the other side or the same side. It's been 90 games and he's finally decided to play the bench players the way he should have been playing them all year long.
Well, he had to, though, because Brunson was on the bench.
Yeah, with freaking 5 fouls. He had to be in the bench.
That's my coworker. He wouldn't play 9 in a baseball game.
For real. But Tibbs is, I like him. I've always, he's a defensive guy, and I know he's not good for young players. And I know they complain about him not giving young players a chance. There's not a rookie you could talk about who's done well under Tibbs. Luckily for the Knicks, they don't have to pick so early to get that lottery pick any damn way to find out. Well, we did have to pick, we had the option and got RJ Barrett out of it. And what good is that? He's not even on the team anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we talked about this. Are they better now with Cat than they were with Randall and DiVincenzo?
Yeah, I think so. I
know Cat was better last night, but
exactly better last night. What have you done for me lately?
He's so much like Anthony Davis. Can have a monster game and then come back and put up a stinker.
But he doesn't get injured like that. So that's true.
But I'm talking about on the court performance.
Yeah, on the court performance. And
he should be 20-12 every night at least, minimum.
And I look at Siakam as being the same kind of player. It's not like he's a slouch either. He's averaged over 20 points a game as well for the regular season. And he puts up 39 points when no one's expecting it. And then the next, last night's game, he's not doing that. He's not even looking at anything close like that. But that's part of their depth that they have. Yeah. I mean, even though he's a starter, it's part of what they can do. When he's settled, when he's not doing it the way he should do it, you have other players who can kind of pick up the slack.
Well, he had about 20 yesterday, but it's hard for Siakam to go for 39 back-to-back games.
Oh, no, you're not going to look for him to do that, but 25, 30 points. sometimes you get into the playoffs and you just get into that hot groove to where, you start feeling yourself. And if you're doing it, even if you do it for just 2 games in a row out of the 7-game series, that's something that's going to certainly bail the team out. And it could have really bailed the team out yesterday if he'd have done something like that. But you can't expect that. It's next man up, do the job. And Cat last night just went into the fourth quarter with just 4 points. If he just gets another 4 points and has 8 points for the game, the Knicks, first of all, lose. Everybody's crying about Tibbs, and he's not getting any props. You're thinking that now he's in the playoffs. He's not made for the playoffs all of a sudden. But it's just
Cat or Tibbs?
No, you'll think that he's not made for the playoffs. New York fans, that's just how they go about business. They'll think that he's not made for the playoffs. See, when it counts most, he's not doing anything. They'll just forget about everything that happened during the regular season. They'll forget about all the
he did put up a stinker in game 2, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't. Well, for him, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Cat should be 20 and 12, night in, night out, minimum, man. Okay, maybe not 12 rebounds, but 9 or 10, or maybe not 20 points, but 25, 30 some nights. I mean, he's that kind of player. He calls himself the greatest big man shooter of all time. Go out there and put in buckets then.
I don't know, greatest big man shooter, man. I still think the same crap I was talking about with a Dream years ago.
I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's how he feels.
I was thinking Patrick Ewing was years ago until he played Dream, and I'm like, damn, have I seen this Dream before? It became a damn nightmare. Dream was shooting left and right. But yo, let's go back to that, and it seems so anticlimactic. The Oklahoma City game and the Timberwolves. They get this big win, 15-point win in the first game. And then they get blown the hell out. I mean, when it's in this, the second game, and now in the third game, they get blown out like nobody's business. I mean, absolutely blown. We've seen too much of that in the NBA this season.
After game 1, I was like, OKC looks like they're clearly
invincible.
The better team.
Yeah.
And then game 2, it just reiterated that thought that I had in my head. And then they lost by 40. Like, I don't know. They might have punted. They might have punted like, look, we're down. We're not coming back. All right, we'll just focus on game 4. But still 40? 40. Man, I don't know. Like, if you're the number 1 seed, you're the best team in the league, you don't lose by 40. Oh, here comes Bill Haney.
Bro, Bill freaking Haney in the house.
What up?
Oh, this is my man. I'm about to say now this Diamond. Dime Ski, another Knicks fan coming in. I think the price is right. Now the Knicks fans are showing up.
We just moved out to OKC and
yeah,
we go back to New
York. We got to show them after we win because we'd have lost. We'd have got the dustpan and the brooms ourselves. Nobody would have had to tell us.
But bro, you had to win it when it counted, and we did. But it's still, you cannot relax. And Tibbs already said it. I keep on saying it, man. You just can't relax. This Knicks team is a grinded out kind of team, and I hope, man. And it seems like when Indiana's ahead, they seem more comfortable ahead than when the Knicks are ahead. When the Knicks are ahead, and even if it's like 7-8 points, you still wonder when the floor is going to just come from underneath them. And then Indiana just chips away, and they hit those damn threes. They bring it right back, and then you see how it goes down. The Knicks,
what the big difference was. What a big difference was in game 3, though. They were making their free throws. Otherwise, they lose.
Yeah, that was the key. Them free throws was killer right there. We did real good on them free throws. Because the last few games, our free throws was always 1 out of 2 or none.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with the free throws, but yeah, the Knicks can't be hot and cold. I wonder is because they're not, even though there should be pressure, you're talking about possibly going into a 3-0 hole. There should be pressure there, but I'm thinking the pressure of being at Madison Square Garden, that shouldn't even be a factor now. And they're losing at Madison Square Garden. I know they did close out the Celtics there, but now you're on another layer heading towards trying to get to the championship, and Indiana just doesn't go away. And I look at the game yesterday, they just don't go away, man. Why are they not going away? And you
they don't, because they got them shooters. They got, like, you see Halliburton's, his threes look, they be like water, swoop right through. I'm like, yo, he'll just pull up, do them. But somebody mentioned that he don't show himself as a 3-level scorer. So that's why he always run inside. If he don't dish it, you always see him pull right back out and then take a 3. He don't have his midi down pack. And if he get his midi down pack, we be in trouble. So you know what I mean?
He scored 30-plus points a couple of times already in his playoffs. I mean, so
yeah, that's what them 3-pointers get you.
No, but he's driven in too. He's not afraid.
Yeah,
it's not like
he goes in,
he's
but
saying he either goes all the way to the basket or he shoots a three.
That mid game is still lackluster. That's something you got to work on this summer.
It's the summer. Shoot, man. He's trying to get to a chip now. So he has every opportunity to get to at least the chip and see what happens there. I'm so much about Oklahoma City being able to just come in and stomp everybody out. And I still think they're the odds-on favorite to win it all. But these 40-point losses and all this craziness, when they're obviously the better freaking team, and it's absolutely insane. And they're favored again tonight, even though being a favorite don't freaking matter. Vegas is, I don't know if they're taking a beating, but they're not doing really well with the number anymore, as it stands right now. But, man, all season long, we've been seeing this kind of thing where at some point or another, teams have been down by 30, 40, and 50-plus points. In fact, I think there was like 5 games this season in which teams were down by 50 points or nearly 60 points. These are pros. These are supposed to be the best on the planet, the best athletes, better than the NBA has ever been in terms of athleticism, and you're allowing these kinds of games. I mean, it was
3-pointers do it to you, B.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Have something to do with it. These streaky ass 3-point shooters. I know it was the Clippers and the Nets when I think the Clippers had like a 59-point lead on them. I mean, God, man, hell, if you go back to even 2021, you can see what freaking when Memphis played OKC back then and lost by 70 freaking 3. This is what we have. This is supposed to be a better NBA.
Well, I think.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
The 3-pointer got this game changed.
Yeah, for sure. But I think T-Wolves came out, they had to have game 3.
Yeah.
They came out with a certain intensity. They're playing for their playoff life, and OKC just wasn't ready for it. Now in game 4, I think OKC is going to come out and match that intensity, and I feel OKC will pull it out.
Oh, yeah, I think they should. They have the better freaking team. The thing that boggles my mind is that you have home court advantage don't mean that damn much of a difference, but how do you fall by that much? Do you just not get interested? Or this is what happens with young teams? But it's been happening with a number of teams this season. Bad teams, yeah, I can just see a bad team, but we're in the playoffs this deep in. There aren't any more bad teams. You shouldn't be losing by 40 freaking points. You shouldn't have 35-point leads or even 20-point leads. But this is what we've been having. But at least the other side of it is that teams are good enough to, if there is a 20-point lead, they're able to overcome it like the Knicks have done. Or if there is a 17-point lead, a team like Indiana is be able to overcome it to kind of accentuate how good of a team they are.
Sometimes it's just not your night. Like even when the Lakers,
even when
the Lakers and Celtics played back in the day, there was the Memorial Day massacre. But those teams were as close as can be.
Yeah, it's the high percentage. So between the high percentage shots, so like OKC, that's how come Shea SGA is the MVP. He has all 3 levels, and before he starts shooting his threes, he's always hitting the midi and a layup. He drives and he hits his middies, and he at a high percentage. So if they flowing like that, and all of them are hitting high percentage shots, what they mostly get, then on top of the high percentage they make with the threes, that's what just expands the lead, and then you have a blowout in the playoffs.
But I see more of that happening if it were Indiana when you look at how they are playing better this in the postseason, especially with their 3-point shooting, 36% to 40%, and they're holding serve with that 40%. And seeming even when they're losing, they're still putting up those numbers with the 3-point shoot, 3-pointers. And you think about the Knicks still shouldn't have won that game, but it happened to be Cat put in the work in the last quarter and won the game. For all intents and purposes, with the exception of reality, Indiana should have won the game last night. So that's why if you're a Knicks fan, if you put your ego to the side and be realistic, tomorrow is going to be a real tenuous night, man. Biting nails in the whole 9, hoping you don't go back to the Garden down 3-1, looking to get closed out in front of the home crowd, which can happen.
Our heart gonna be stopping with every shot, like ooh. Every shot we go, okay.
I saw a question somewhere. It's pretty silly to me, asking who has more pressure, the Pacers or the Knicks. to me, it's obviously the Knicks. You don't want to go down 3-1.
No.
And no, being up 2-0, you don't want to be 2-2, but you still got a best of 3 after that. If you're down 3-1, every game is an elimination game from that
every
point
game.
on.
That's pressure.
Yeah, every game for them is an elimination game. So, I mean, they got to work hard. They got to keep it at a half court game and keep them dudes from running. I don't know. They need to come up with a better game plan. Hopefully, like Tibbs saw the defensive lineup that he put out there, and he'll put them out there so to slow TJ McConnell down, because TJ McConnell looking like the next coming John Starks out there.
Yeah, bro. He's looking nice when he gets out there. He's a pain in the butt. He just kind of scores and there's a little bit of a pain in the butt out there. But
yeah, the Knicks did a great job of getting the game to be played at their pace in the fourth quarter. It slowed down tremendously.
And Cat answered.
They got a good chance.
And you know that Indiana could run. They could run it all night if they have to. And I think you mentioned it already during the series in the beginning that that the Knicks, how the legs are going to be the night after playing against them, having to run and try to keep up with them, being the older team. And it seems to have been a pain in the butt because you went down 2-0 and they were still doing the running part. You know what I mean? So they did slow it down. And what do you think, Diamond, about Tibbs finally letting the bench play the way they need to play, even with Brunson and having his problems of being on the bench himself, but holding serve with the bench, given the rest that he should have been given throughout the season?
That was a call to, a call to arms right there. We were so happy as Knicks fans. We were so happy to see DeLon right in the game. We was like, what? Only thing we missed was Precious and PJ Tucker getting in there. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? So it was a good, it's good to see that he's not stuck. Like everybody say, he's so stubborn and stuck. It's good to see that he understands.
Why did it take so freaking long?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It was because Brunson was in foul trouble. Cat had 3 at the half, I think. He had to go to his bench. He had
I think that's what he's been doing this playoffs. You're right. We've been getting in so much foul trouble that he been playing with the lineup, and I think now he's not going to be so worried about the fouls now that he see that guys can come in and play. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All he just got to make sure there's a playmaker on there to get people some easy shots and one score and a couple playmakers, because everybody just can't get their own shot. So if they can do that,
Josh Hart being a team player, saying he doesn't mind because they were talking about him getting benched and all the other stuff. He was like, you know what? Whatever he wants to do, I'm down with it. You know what I mean? It seemed like he was that team play at the right time. And he still got his burn last night, man. He put in over 30 minutes, so he wasn't on that bench for long.
Right? Almost had a double-double. I mean, he said that. He said, even when he was in the starting lineup, he does whatever the team needs. So him coming off the bench wouldn't be no problem. And, he wasn't always like that go-to guy his whole career anyway. So, he's very flexible, and that's the good thing about Josh Hart. You know what I mean? And that's what makes him such a valuable Knick.
But I know that there were some people in some of these groups complaining about Shamet not getting the game. Flo, come on, man. They're like, yo, they should have put him in.
Shamet curse, like whenever he was on the team, they wouldn't get that far in the playoffs. So it's pretty good to see.
Your microphone is sucking, man.
12.
Get your microphone. Check it. Fix your shirt. Fix your microphone on your phone a little bit. Yeah, man.
I'm breaking up.
You broke up a little bit. That's all right.
You were sounding muffled. Your microphone sounded muffled.
It got muffled. Your mic got muffled.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think got my battery on like 2%.
Charge your phone.
Click. Anyway, where are you anyway? Is that Edenwall in the background?
Nah, Pelham Bay Park.
Pelham Bay, bro. I used to run around that park. Me and Claudette, remember that?
I got it hooked up with the tennis courts, the track.
It's nice. It's nice out there. Yeah, man. I'm just glad the Knicks got this freaking win, taking a little bit of the pressure off the fans too, man. Come on, getting too much gray hair before we should.
Climbing on neon signs and cursing. They curse everybody out. And then I think they had a video now with them cursing everybody out after that win. I'm like, Knicks fans just don't learn, B.
They don't freaking learn, man. But hey, they are who the hell they are. And now tonight you You have the Timberwolves going back at it with OKC. OKC's favorite in this game. I guess they saw it as a little blip on the radar, a little blip on the timeline, being down, getting blown out in the last game. So they're still favorite now on the road. So see how that
we'll see if Anthony Edwards is that dude he claimed to be. You know what I mean?
He's doing his part though. He's doing his part. Julius Randle was the one sitting around watching the birds the other day.
Hopefully he do it. Like he got to do it, because if not, OKC is gonna take it home.
Well, they're gonna do
but
that
the way OKC play and the way SGA get to the hoop, it look like they're gonna win it anyway. SGA is so smooth. I be watching. I be like, you can't stop that guy. Even when we played them, we had a nice little lead in the beginning, and then that second half, SGA just pulled it out the bag, and they just blew us out towards the end. I was like, there we go.
What's the line for the game? Because I think I could see OKC winning by 9 or 10.
They got it like 3.5 or something like that, man. From last, let me check and see.
Like if the real OKC shows up tonight, they're just better than the T-Wolves.
Oh, without a doubt, that's not even a question. They're the best. Look, even with the blowout, they're still the best team in the freaking playoffs right now.
Right.
And
they definitely. I feel they're the better team too, and I feel like even though we had a little success in one hat, like in 2 quarters against them, I mean, it'll be a tall task. I just will hope that if we got there and played them, we make it competitive. I wouldn't want to just go there and just.
Man, don't just be happy to be there, man. Come on.
Yeah, I want to just be happy to be there and get the shoes knocked off. Knock their sneakers off.
3.5 points is the line. 3.5 points is the line tonight with OKC favorite on the road. So
I tell you what though, did you guys see Clyde in the stands the other day?
Clyde
Frazier.
At Indiana, right?
He's still sharp, man.
Oh, Clyde's always sharp. That's how I do, man. Pimp. He was the pimp, man. That dude's been out there getting it, wearing those. He's always wearing those bright ass colors, man. He want people to know it's him. But hey, everybody respect Clyde, the old guard.
Love Clyde. Clyde Frazier,
man. Yeah, shoot, he's a legendary player up there. And Patrick Ewing don't get the respect he deserves up there. People see him and they're still like, yeah, we're like, hell, just a few years ago, they didn't even let him in the freaking Big East tournament. The security guard was like, we don't know who you are. They had to get somebody.
Charles Oakley still banned?
Oh, no. They took the ban off of Charles Oakley.
Did they?
I thought they took the ban off of him.
What did he ever do to get banned?
I don't think they did.
They didn't take it off. I gotta look it up now.
No, because he was on somebody's podcast and he said he still was banned.
Oh, okay. So I thought he was off the ban.
No, yeah, because he was on there.
They should have banned John Starks for that Game 7 performance.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. He was on Nightcap. And he said that he's still banned.
Oh, damn, man. I know Spree was out there in the stands.
I had Spree out there. Tim Thomas, Starberry, Mello.
Freaking Allen Houston.
Allen Houston, he was in the tunnel. He was in the tunnel giving them that when they won.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man. Oh, man, I wish Mace was still around. That'd have been cool as hell. If Oak can't be there, break Mace. But, Mace is gone.
Yeah, that's how I go.
Well,
playing basketball in the sky. Hell, in the playground in the sky.
Caitlin Clark out for 2 weeks, quad injury, at least 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. Still doing the thing, even in the loss. They let the Liberty come back against them. I watched that game. Bro, the Liberty just boat raced them in just a little bit of time. They was ahead by like 12. Liberty came back and just scoring like it was nothing. And that was that. And they're just a better team. The defending champs, you would expect it. But damn, on the road in Indiana. Huh?
That's our champs. Finally got over the hump. Always in the final. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. We finally became the bride.
Well, at least one New York team won. One New York team beat Indiana.
So I saw a post on Facebook. I think it was Jamel Hill was quoted as saying, "Angel doesn't just play to win; she plays to dominate." So I commented, "Is that why her team's 0-3?" And then some dude came at me and said, quote, Barry Sanders played on the WAC team, but he's still the greatest.
Bro, why would he even go there?
I'm like, comparing Angel to Barry is utterly laughable and ridiculous. And all kind of dudes are coming at him. You didn't really just compare. He's like, I didn't compare him. You guys don't know what juxtaposing is, do you?
For real.
Man, get out of here.
Right now, you shouldn't even juxtapose that.
Breath. Come on. Barry Sanders and Angel Reese, two different sports, but like one's like at the top of the mountaintop, and the other one shoots 20% from the dotted line.
You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, she got 2 points the other day with those free throws, and she was 33% from there. Come on, man. 2 of 6. Get out of here with that. Unbelievable. The way they hype her up, the talent does not match the hype in any way. She's nothing but a freaking influencer from Instagram or any other social media platform on a basketball court. That's it. She doesn't make any impact on the basketball court, because even last year when Caitlin was losing, you still saw her imprint on the game. She had her fingerprint on the game, and then she became the reason why they were winning. Angel Reese and this double-double nonsense she was doing because she was getting her me browns, as they call it now. She would get her me browns because she's missing so many damn shots. I don't know why they're trying to push her to the forefront. And you know the ignorant people are going to make it a race issue when it should just be basketball. That's why you watch sports, to get away from the BS. But the damn tribesmen and ignorant people are going to just make it a race issue, even though it's no comparison between the two.
It shouldn't be a race issue. They trying to build a rivalry, but unfortunately,
the rivalry has to be even. Look, Bird and freaking Magic was a rivalry. Jordan and I guess Bird and Magic at some point became somewhat of a rivalry. This is like comparing, like I said the other day, this is comparing Michael Jordan and Anthony Mason. That's the rivalry. That's it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, they trying to hype it up, and I guess that's the only reason the fuel for it is racial, because like you said, as far as basketball-wise, it's uncomparable. So the only thing that can keep the fuel to the rivalry is racism. So I guess that's why it's a race car being pulled until Angel Reese hit the courts in the summer and build a game all around.
That's just not what she does, though. She had this summer to do it, and we saw the difference between Caitlin going to the gym looking the way she does, even though she just got injured in her quad because she's really pushing it, playing the game, and then Angel Reese still looking a lot like last season, and the team still looking a lot like last season. 0-3. She's worried more about her social media and still asking about money that's not there. We should get paid more. Where's it supposed to come from? Economics 101. I know she had that 1.8 GPA in college, but where the hell is your economics mind coming from saying crap like that?
So I have to.
Well, I guess that's why she got to work on her social media, because that's where the money coming from.
I gotta mention Ari Spears because he just called her garbage. And
is he wrong?
I was watching her highlights the other day, and it dawned on me like, she has no moves. She'll get a rebound and she'll try and muscle, and she just throw it up. There's no pump fake. There's no up and under. There's no drop step. She has no skills.
Call
she
it what it is.
She can go get the basketball. That's it. That's her only skill. She can go get the basketball. But after that, she can't get an easdy bucket. It either goes in or it doesn't. She just throws it up.
She needs to work out with Cheryl Miller.
Throws it up. Cheryl Miller. What do you say?
I said she need to work out with Cheryl Miller.
I think you're trying to compare her to Cheryl Miller. I think we got another Barry Sanders thing here. You talk about Cheryl Miller. We got another Barry Sanders thing now.
That obviously didn't help.
Nah, that's what she needs to do. She need to, you know how guys take on one of the legends to give them a little training and boost them up. That's what she needs. You know,
they showed, like you said.
She needs to go work with Sue Bird or somebody who actually has good ball skills.
But I don't think that's her interest. Her interest is being in the media, being in
the
limelight, being on social media. This is that kind of generation we have now. She's more interested in being in the media, being in the limelight, doing everything except for what she's there for, which is basketball. And she doesn't have a lot of skills at all. I know people want to push the industry and they'll do that usual, name calling, because that's what the culture does. This name call when they can't make sense of nonsense. You're not out there. Trust me, I don't want to be out there if she's out there. The hell, man, I don't play basketball like that. This chick is she's just not any good. And you're trying to compare her against someone who may end up being one of the greatest players that league has ever seen.
right? I mean, it's just it's what it is. It'd be nice if she get a game up a little bit so we can look at that as a legitimate basketball rivalry.
Well, what happens if she's already plateaued, man? That may be a reality as well.
Then she gonna have to. She gonna have to become a dirty player and start elbowing and untying people's shoestrings.
She needs to work on
somebody's shoestring.
The mic drill or something. She misses too many layups. The mic drill.
Oh man, God, this chick, Well, you know what? I was watching that game with the Liberty and Indiana the other day. The shots these girls were missing, the wide open layups. Caitlin should have had at least 15 assists. These chicks.
Oh yeah, Peter should have won that game. And Kelsey Mitchell had a breakaway layup she missed. I'm like, this is why I don't watch the WNBA.
We take for granted what these guys in the NBA do. What they do in the NBA, we just take it for granted. And then when we see some other entity that's supposed to be on the heights of their level, and it looks like you should just throw in some clown music while they're playing, because it's the way they're missing the layups. I mean, obvious, easy layups. I expect that from when you're in 3-point range, you miss it. No big deal. But when you're missing,
hold on, wait. Speaking of clown music, did you see the stretch in the game yesterday where there was like 5 straight turnovers, an air ball, a turnover? I was like, oh my gosh, is JJ Redick watching? Because there's plumbers on the court right now, nothing but plumbers. And it was game 3 of the NBA playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals. I'm like, plumbers to the left of me, plumbers to the right of me.
For real, here I am stuck in the middle watching these guys. Yeah, you know what? I guess that will happen a little bit in the NBA, but I'm saying almost the entire.
But that's my point. You can pick almost from any game a little 25-second stretch where the game's gonna look like trash, and then you're gonna call them plumbers because it's 1968 or 1974 or 1983, whatever. Come on, man. JJ Redick is smart, probably the dumbest smart guy around.
You know what I'm about to say? How come these guys, they get these jobs of analysts? You hear them for years and they sound like they make sense. It looks like, damn, why isn't this guy the GM? And then they get their chance at a coaching job or a GM job and nothing changes or things just don't look like their influence is making a difference. And JJ Redick right now so far is probably part of that. I don't know how much LeBron is making it look like he's looked that bad, but damn, man, it's just JJ Redick. I guess I was wrongly expecting more from the Lakers because of him, not even because of LeBron. I thought it just put LeBron in position to do well. Well, anyway. What else has been happening? I mean, basketball. Yeah, look, we got a chance to talk basketball. Finally, everything that we've been looking forward to all season is now happening in the playoffs. Now, going back to when the NFL is about to start up, we're going into June next month. That means the NFL training camps is the following month. Travis Hunter has gotten married, so I know there's going to be even more drama here in Jacksonville. He's right down the block from me.
Because he got married?
Right over the bridge from me, over at the stadium. You know what I mean?
Is that clip going viral? How when Shador was trying to show him love, he shoved them off?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Shador trying to give him a hug and a kiss, and he like shoved them off like it was all business. Like, bro, we ain't that familiar.
You know what? It probably could be something like that. They're from two different worlds. Travis is a Georgia kid. He's one of those shucks guys, does the fishing, doesn't do the money and flash thing. You do it when you have to do it because if your father, the dude's father, your coach and all that, and he's the quarterback and you're a receiver, the best receiver they have. I guess you got to do something to get the chemistry going. But now that he doesn't have to deal with him, he got to do together.
You would think there'd be some closeness.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's some closeness. I guess just that moment. You know how the internet is. It catches you in the moment. You could be happy 99% of the time. That one time you're pissed off, that becomes viral.
The camera's on. He's back.
Yeah, it caught him up. That's what I'm saying. It could be one of those moments, but now it's in infamy because now it's on the internet. It's gonna live forever.
It's gonna live forever, man. For real. Yeah, and now Aaron Rodgers, another NFL note, doesn't know which team he might decide to retire as a Green Bay Packer. The Steelers aren't waiting for him, and they actually, from what you hear now, they may be using Kirk Cousins as the plan B if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come. He should be the plan A. Aaron Rodgers should be the plan B.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, even though he came on a little bit towards the end of last season, still.
He came on a long way. Where'd he go?
That's what I said. I'm going by the analysts. They said that he looked better than he did. I was like, did he? Because we still couldn't win. He still couldn't. He didn't get no 2-minute drills done.
Nope.
You know, he wasn't winning games in the clutch. So
he looked better than he looked in the hospital last season. Yeah, that's probably it. He looked better than he was on the doggone bed trying to heal up from an Achilles. That's about it. He didn't do anything special last season. Even when he did have the rare time to throw, he wasn't doing anything special. It was terrible. I just couldn't believe how far behind he went from what he was. Even though he's old, but Tom Brady spoiled people to making him think that you can play on a high level like that for that long.
Yeah, like you get. Don't matter how old you get. If you was great when you was young, you're gonna be great old. No can do.
Yep. So I guess that'll be it for now, man. Shoot, before you know it, Thursday we'll be here and we'll get a chance to talk about what happened tonight between OKC on the road, 3.5-point favorites against the Timberwolves, who are trying to save their own lives. And then, of course,
the Knicks. Thunder by 9 or 10.
They're going by 9 or 10?
And then tomorrow I got the Pacers by 5.
You know what? Damn. See, you've been hitting it too much lately, man. You say by 5, I'm thinking, damn, for real. Whoa, this Pacers, he been on top of it for real. And I'm like, damn, man, you even took the Pacers in the entire series. So
but hey, I mean, I appreciate the credit, but I had OKC in 4 after game 1, so that didn't. But
OKC's just, and you also mentioned about a gentleman's sweep, anyways. So that's still a possibility.
We'll see. They got to win tonight.
It's a possibility.
You're not called.
Yeah, a real possibility at that. Depends on how tonight goes. Because OKC, all the doors are going to get blown off. Those people are going to be so rabid trying to close it out. Hell yeah, at OKC if it gets to that point. But anyway, we'll know about that by Thursday. And of course, now the NFL is creeping along. Baseball doing some things. I know it's still a little bit early. You look at Aaron Judge has gone from batting .415. Now he's like .395. It still got that crazy on base percentage, man. Look like Barry Bonds out there. But anyways, he's biased. I'm Trav. And there's Diamond that decided to join the triumvirate.
Thanks for joining us. Shout out to Wayne and Jermaine for joining us earlier.
At the barbecue in the Bronx, NYC. Well, the Sports Back Bros podcast will be back at you on Thursday. And until then, deuces.